just say right away that it's really cool to see someone doing the testing, because I think in Jams most of us just forget that the game has to be tested, and yeah, it's cool to have the mechanic of the jam guys like following you around and copying your movements, because the first time that I played I was like, why are they so smart? Hi gamers and developers, and welcome to another GDT vlog. On today's vlog we're going to talk about mini Jame game, and this is team 2, so we have one member of the team right here, and they'll talk about their game a little bit later, but first about the jam itself. So this jam lasted 3 days, and the main theme for this jam was you're your own enemy, and they had a second team that was to include jam jars. The game these guys made is called, let me check it because this is a big name, so the Jammiest game about jam jars. You can introduce yourself and your role on the game.
Well, hello, my name is Pedro Tavares, and I will be speaking on behalf of the second team. I worked alongside with André Correia and Rafael on this jam. So my role was mostly just all the art and animations, while André handled all the programming, working with Unity and the engine, and Rafael was our game tester because due to the nature of our game, which I will speak later, we needed a lot of hands-on testing and iterations, just making sure everything worked and everything was in the right place.
Yeah, I'm gonna just say right away that it's really cool to see someone doing the testing, because I think in Jams most of us just forget that the game has to be tested, and yeah. So, how did you come up with this idea?
We all decided together when the theme was revealed. We all gathered, waited around until the timer went to 0, and when we saw the theme, we were at first completely shocked, because making a game where you are your own worst enemy and you have to include jam jars was at first a bit appalling, since it's something you wouldn't immediately connect. But we quickly got brainstorming, mostly with the help of art, because I feel like that helps a lot. I started sketching random things. I made a really strong jar with big muscles. I was thinking something like maybe a combat game, and I started also making a graph with many ideas, like involving, firstly a fight, but then maybe your inputs would be the enemy's inputs, all kinds of things. And when we gathered again to discuss ideas, I think it was André who suggested. We took some inspiration from a game called Celeste, which is a pretty popular indie game, and it had this mechanic in a certain level where you have to run away from shadows of yourself that do the same movements, and essentially it's somewhat of a puzzle, but also you're being chased. And since that would be more feasible in the time frame we had of 3 days, we decided to go with that. And then we thought it was a good idea. We decided to thinking of a reason, because it had to involve, so we had the you are your own enemy part down, but it had to involve a jam jar, and we just made sure then we'll be the jam jar. And I took charge of making a small cutscene to give some context, where in this case it was a wizard making a potion. He puts it up on a shelf right next to his sweet jam jar. But then a cat, as always, comes in, swipes both things to the ground, they get mixed, and the jam gets separated from the jar, and then as the jar, you have to run away from all the little jams chasing you.
I love it. I'm sorry, I just think this is such a creative idea. If you've seen the previous team, they went for the pun, so they did lots of puns with the word jam, and this one goes the other way, but I love it. It's so creative. So I think you guys want to see this, so let's play the game. And I'm just gonna say, I love your art. It's so beautiful. I love it. It's so cool.
Yeah, I started learning pixel art a long time ago, mostly because digital art was a bit daunting to get into, since there's so many things you have to take into account, and pixel art was a little bit more feasible in my opinion, because you don't have, for example, to be really good at lines and having them all straight. Oh, I'm gonna start playing the game now, but yeah, I had a lot of fun doing the art. It was definitely a challenge because even though I had worked with pixel art for some time, I had never quite had to work on a timed project, or I never did commissions or anything like that. I'm very much it's just a hobby I had. But it was great to see that I at least could step up and do something if needed.
It's cool to have the mechanic of the jam guys like following you around and copying your movements. Because the first time that I played, I was like, why are they so smart? Why are they doing the same that I'm doing? And then I realized, and I got, oh my god, this is very well programmed. So I love it.
It was fantastically programmed, and also it was greatly due to the fact that we had a playtester who helped a lot. Rafael was constantly testing everything. We were like, okay, we have to tweak the gravity a little. Maybe the enemies should spawn at this frequency instead of this one. And it really helped to figure out the intricate little details of the game. One little detail I'm going to show now in the gameplay is we try also to make some challenging places so that skilled players had some rewards. So for example, the coins add 10 to your score, and this place, for example, has 2 coins, but it's really tough to get through. So if you are good, while you go playing, if you play the game again and again, you'll figure out a path to take to grab the most coins possible, like in the shortest amount of time.
Yeah.
Because since as time goes on, there's more and more gems, and it's harder and harder to not get eaten. There's some skill in learning which path to take, and when I had even friends playing the game and having some fun with it, they all talked about how I figured out
there
this
is
path.
A strategy,
yeah, which we really wanted to add some skill to the game per se.
And this was something that was done in 3 days, so I think you guys did an awesome job of it.
Thank you.
So regarding your experience with the gem itself, would you recommend this gem to other people?
Definitely. It was my first gem ever. I had never participated in one before, and I feel like the time constraint, so the 3 days, was just right so that you feel that game jam pressure per se. So you don't have all the time in the world to be trying to perfect every little thing, and I have to make the art perfect, and I have to make the gameplay absolutely stunning. It gave you it didn't give you a long time to be overthinking things, but it also wasn't too short, like a 24-hour game jam where you just be panicking and stumbling your way through the gem. So my experience, I would say, was great, and I feel like it was the only gem I participated. But this 3-day time span seems like the perfect mix for someone who's also starting out, because you don't want to go too short, like 1 day where again you just be stumbling through, or 1 month where you just be overthinking everything and taking too long on some things that shouldn't take too long. And this gives you a nice experience of game development. It made me, for example, with the art, not worry too much, just draw it and then fix it later if it's really needed, but sketch the most you can and just try to make, in this case, a wizard's workshop feel like a wizard's workshop.
I was going to ask you for advice for the viewers back at home, as we always do. I think you already gave a lot, but if you could sum up everything that you said, what is your advice regarding anything that you would give the viewers back at home?
So I would say definitely begin with, don't get stuck on an idea. Definitely brainstorm and iterate through many ideas. And one thing I've heard, not only in game dev, but in many areas of creative spaces, like writing, for example, is sometimes your first idea is not going to be the best one, and it's even almost always your second idea is going to be even better. So feel free to iterate and try something out.
And I think that was actually my last question for you. So to sum it up, it's to Pedro advice, because he's got it all covered. And yeah, play this game. So this game is available on our itch.io as always, and you can play it and have fun with it because it looks awesome and it feels awesome and it's really fun. So yeah, I think that's it. So thank you for watching back at home. Thank you for coming.
Yeah,
and as always, keep updated with our social media, watch our other vlogs, watch our other videos on YouTube, and keep jamming, keep developing, keep gaming. And yeah, that's it. Bye.